Carl, you're back.
Third time lucky, Alison.
Fantastic.
Third time lucky.
That sounds great. Now, we were talking about this MIBA scheme, which has been introduced for people in the entertainment industry. I was asking just, first of all, what the I suppose, the outline of it is.
Yeah, so look, finally we got news from Minister Martin that it'll be open for application on the 9th of June. And if I just revert back to last October when Falch Ireland published the guidelines for music at weddings, no live music, no loud music, no dancing. At that point, and up to that point, Alison, we weren't really pushing for support because there was activity. There was weddings happening, wedding bands were performing. So last January, we put in a proposal. Wedding bands have huge ongoing business costs. Advertising would be one of the biggest ones to stay competitive throughout the whole year. So Minister Martin eventually announced it was 50 million in October, and finally that money now is being allocated. Now, the devil is in the detail in the criteria, unfortunately, and the structure of the scheme, an awful lot of people will be excluded.
Yeah. Because, I mean, anyone who is working, and I know you shouldn't be, but a lot of people in the industry are probably working cash in hand. That's not going to benefit them, is it?
Well, I think there's a stigma attached to that, Alison. I mean, you know, it's a bit of a dinosaur view. I mean, the business that we're in now, especially the wedding band business, it is a business. That's what it is. And the business supports are going to be welcome for us in order to survive. The cash in hand type approach, it doesn't really happen. I mean, yes, of course, in the earlier days, that might have been the case, but that's not the case now, certainly speaking for wedding bands.
Okay, so what will musicians have to prove in order to avail of this scheme?
Okay, so there is one part of the scheme, just to be honest, we rejected when the scheme was presented to us. So if you earn over 20,000 and under 100,000, this was the original proposal, you will get €2,500. If you earn over 100,000, you will get 5,000. Now, we rejected that scheme because it would be unfair for someone to show that they earned 99,000 to get 2.5, and then the person earning over 20,000 would get 2.5.
Yeah.
Now, what we do welcome is on the 22nd of January, we put in a recommendation that a threshold of over 35,500, then that person should get 4,000. So they've actually implemented that recommendation, which is great. But the problem is the criteria associated. You have to show ongoing business costs from April 2020 to May 2021. Now, obviously, a lot of those costs are going to be down because very few musicians had any activity during that period of time.
So how can they do that then? I mean, would that be maintenance of equipment, or how would you be able to do that?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, 3,000 is the lowest business expenses that you need to show to get to 2,500 if you earn over 20,000. So insurance, accountancy fees, capital loans, advertising costs. You know, there is about 8 or 9 different items that you would be having to pay to survive, to get out the other side. Public liability insurance, you know, and et cetera, et cetera. But the problem is, as I said, you know, if you talk about solo musicians, you know, two-piece bands, pub bands, they might not be able to enter into this scheme. And ultimately, that's what this scheme was originally about. Yeah. It was about to get the majority and not the minority. And unfortunately, what's happened is it's been presented as a competitive scheme. Absolutely, for wedding bands will be able to enter into this scheme. But for the greater cohort and the ecosystem of musicians, sound engineers, stage crew, they're not going to, most of them might not get a cent.
Do you feel like it was something that was kind of just thrown out to pacify those in the entertainment industry, because you've been the most vocal in the past few weeks about how you've been affected by COVID?
Well, it took 7 months, didn't it, to get this out? And in my opinion, when you view that timeline, there's a sense of negligence towards who we are. I mean, look, we're the heartbeat of this country. You know, we're the crack, we're the August the Kjol. You know, we fill dance floors. So look, I mean, we only had 3 engagements with the department. As I said, the original proposal, we didn't accept it. We didn't think it was fair. And that's what's actually ultimately after being put out. Again, for wedding bands, you know, people will be able to enter into it. So that's where we're at. I mean, look, the guidelines is our big next pressing issue. Over the next 2 weeks, Alison, we'll be lobbying very, very hard on media and into the relevant departments, Department of Health, Department of Tourism, and obviously Falch Ireland, who we've started engagements with.
Because it's a shame, isn't it? Because we're being told that we'll have to do summer outside, and surely that would pose a wonderful opportunity for everybody in the music industry. But they're just not being given the chance to be able to do that.
We are absolutely baffled why a musician cannot sit in a beer garden, sing a few songs to the punters while they're having a few drinks. We're absolutely baffled by it. It doesn't make any scientific sense. And really what's happening in what I'm seeing from Facebook groups and stuff is people are talking about protests, they're talking about discrimination, and that's the only way you can feel, Alison.
Yeah.
You know, there's going to be 50 people allowed, sorry, not dance, but 50 people can go to a wedding in July at a wedding reception. 100 people go in August. Now, if they don't allow live entertainment, allow the couple have the live entertainment and allow them dance, they're not going to want to get married. Well, who would put 50 of their closest family and friends into a room without music?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. And even the scientific end of it, they are telling us, look, people will bend over and talk to each other. And look, we support public health advice. We don't want to break the guidelines. But they need to give us answers in the next 2 weeks, because weddings take a bit of time to plan. And the anxiety for all these couples, they're delighted with 50 guests, Alex, delighted. And they want their band and they want their dancing.
But with the introduction now of MeBass, do you feel like the end is in sight, that the worst of it might be over and there are good things ahead? Or do you still feel like the future is very uncertain?
No, we feel very, very positive. I mean, look, all these supports are welcome, but the best support we can get right now is to get more clarity on dancing and live music at weddings. And let me speak for the other musicians out there as well who play in bars. They need clarity too. And that would be the best support. But we've turned the corner. If you look at Prime Time 2 nights ago, we had Jake, our band, on. I mean, we got recognition. Leo even mentioned wedding bands. That's how relevant we are, you know, in that integral chain of events that happen at a wedding. And we just want to reach out to the public as well. I mean, the public have been so supportive, and the wedding couples who have moved once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. So we've turned the corner. Vaccines are out. You know, we do think we will be back in July. The planes are going up in the sky. People will be able to travel again. So we're remaining very, very optimistic.
Fingers crossed, Cathal. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
And Alison, before I go, can I just give a shout out to people within the Tipperary area? We have Blue Moose Band, Fill in the Blanks Band, the Pearly Whites, and we have Aoife O'Neill, who's a fantastic ceremony singer. So I just wanted to give them a little plug.
Absolutely. And thanks for doing that. Thanks, Cathal.
Thank you, Alison.
All the best. Good morning to you. That's Cathal Malloy there, founder of the Wedding Band Association. Let us know what you think. 083 311 3311 or 1800 938 007.